Ordinary Average Guy podcast show. Yeah. Hey, everybody, it's the Ordinary Average Guy podcast show coming at you. Previously recorded from the Buxty Hootie Studios. Hey, franchise.
Hey, buddy.
If you don't mind me asking, what's your waist size?
Waist size?
Yeah.
Comfortably 42.
Oh, 42?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I was hoping it was 40.
Yeah.
You want to know why?
Why?
Because it's the 40th episode.
Hey!
It's the 40th episode. All right. If you are joining in, you would notice that I got the franchise down here in the old Buxty Hootie Studios. Everybody give it up for the franchise.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dude, so excited to have you down here. I wanted to ask you something. I was reading through this magazine. It's called Fox City Sports, Wisconsin, in case for our overseas listeners. Fox City Sports, and all of a sudden I'm paging through it, and I see that there's a nice little write-up in here about the one and only franchise.
Well, it's about the new golf tour, but yes, it's a new magazine in the Appleton, Fox Cities area.
So this is episode number 1?
Six. No, number
number
6.
6.
Started in October. A lot of emphasis and focus on high school sports, I'd say.
Okay.
That's this episode or this edition, the March edition, is all about golf.
Okay.
So it does go into a little bit outside of the high school realm. It does get into some of the guys that are from the area, like Craig Joy, who's now down at Medalist Club in Florida. JP Hayes, who I think is down in El Paso, Texas. So it does get some of like the local golf guys that are no longer in the area.
Okay.
But it does touch on a lot of the local courses, some of the local pros, and they reached out and asked if I'd be interested in writing an article about the golf tour that I run, and I was happy to oblige. And so it got in there, and happy to promote that as it's our 7th season coming up this year.
Fantastic.
On the golf tour, and
awesome.
We're going strong. We've grown every year, so hopefully we continue to grow.
Speaking of growing, is this picture taken this year, or is this a while back? Or
it's got to be a while ago. Let's say 7 years, maybe. I don't know.
I'm joking. Did you write this, or did AI write it? Because it was really well written.
Thank you. So, a fun fact: I wrote it. I sent it to my buddy who went to school for English.
What's he doing now? Unemployed?
No.
I don't know what
Nothing with English.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He did some editing, but the first thing he asked me was, "Did AI write this?"
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. And
That's
I was like,
funny.
I don't know why you'd ask me that, but no, I did. And so he made a few minor tweaks here and there, and that was it.
Why? What did he see in this that made him think that AI wrote it? Did he say like, well, that's kind of a weird word or something like that? Or
I think it was that it was so descriptive on what exactly the tour is instead of being more like broad strokes.
Okay. It was a really nice, you did a really good job. So for those of our listeners here, it's called the Fox City Sports Magazine, and I'm guessing you could probably pick this up at like any Quick Trip.
Yeah,
or
they're free. Just look for them like you do anything, all those other free
who actually
publications.
like puts it together?
The guy's name was Dale Vervoort. He's on page 3. But he's been around for a long time. They have a whole different team of people that they do some writing and photos. And
So he just does this on his own time?
he does, yeah. I met him, and he's been around the block for a long time and done different things in the publishing world and sports world. And he's from Kimberly, and it's kind of like a passion project for him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you are in charge of the new golf tour, and we should preface that new stands for Northeast Wisconsin.
It actually has dual meaning. So a lot of people think it's just Northeast Wisconsin. But when I moved back to the area from Nashville in 2018 and I was going to start this up, I had previously had a different tour that I was no longer affiliated with because I had moved to Nashville and I gave up that affiliation.
Okay.
So I was starting a new
Oh,
golf tour, so it had dual meaning.
okay.
Most people just associate Northeast Wisconsin.
Well, I remember one time we were going up north, and we drove past the new zoo in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And I forget who it was, if it was, and it very well could have been me. And I just was like, man, that zoo's actually been around for a while now. Like, oh, they changed it. Like, it's kind of a weird name. And I think it had to have been, I don't know, maybe it was my mom. I don't want to say it was me, but it could have been. But anyway, my dad just started laughing. He's like, that stands for Northeast Wisconsin.
Yes. Well, it's worked out well because the initial intent was, Fox Cities.
Yep.
But
then you're locked into the Fox Cities.
Well, yeah, and with like connections that we've made and other guys that have come around on tour, we're able to branch out to Green Lake and Valders and Luxembourg.
Oh, wrong one.
Yeah.
Valders, it's my old stomping grounds.
Perfect. Yeah. So and Sheboygan. So we're all over Northeast Wisconsin with these events.
That's awesome. Well, I was just looking at this. So let's talk about this. I myself am not the greatest golfer. I'm not that good at it. You are phenomenal at it. But I was reading in the article that now if we have a listener that likes golfing and wants to actually be in a tournament,
right,
quite a bit here this summer. If you're not that great, it's okay because you have. Can you explain the flight system?
Yeah.
Or how
So
that works?
Traditionally speaking, flights would be you come in and you tell them what your ability is, and they put you into a different group. So you're playing against people that are like talented.
Okay.
I was never a big fan of that for
Okay.
the fact that I feel like some people could manipulate where they are slotted in those flights.
Okay.
So what I do is I take everyone who registers and I put them in a ranking order, and then I go through and kind of make strategic cuts on where those flights can be. So if you're a 10 handicap, let's say,
Okay.
you don't know.
What does that mean?
10 handicap would be somebody who's probably, they don't break 80 a lot. They
Okay.
can break 80, but they are probably more of a low 80s player more often than not.
Would that mean that you're like 10 over par?
Yes and no. Depends on the handicap system is based on the index of the course. So let's take Reed Golf Course in Appleton for an example.
Sure.
Like
Yep.
if you were to, I think Reed Golf Course from the White Tees is a 69, but it's a par 71. So if you were to go out and play Reed every day and on a consistent basis you were shooting par or around par, you would not be considered scratch, even though you're shooting par. You would be considered a 2 handicap because the rating is a 69, which means it is conceivably a easier course than others.
So why don't they just make par 69 then? Or no, so par there is actually
71.
71, but people are saying it should be 69.
There's a rating system that goes across the whole country.
So why don't they just make it a 69 then?
Well, because then you're
69.
because then you're changing. You'd be changing pars on some of the holes,
Okay.
which doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And so it's basically a rating system that you can equate to. So like when you watch the Masters, right?
Yep.
And people are like, how good are these guys, right?
Mhm.
Well, the Masters, for an example, rates in like the high 70s. So like 77, 78.
Okay.
Right? So if a 2 handicap like myself were to go out and play Augusta, I would have to play my absolute best just to break 80, which
Oh.
tells you how good those guys are. And I would be lucky to break 90 out there.
Sure.
It tells you how good those pros are.
Okay.
So
And it also takes the whole golf course as a whole
does.
rather than individual holes.
Correct.
I got what you're saying because you could then you would have to turn a par 5 into a par 4 or something.
correct. So that's where the handicap comes in. So you go through, and so let's say you don't even know what your handicap is, but you just want to compete. Well, then you register, you tell me what your usual score is. Let's say, hey, I usually shoot like 85, right?
Okay.
Well, then I put you in a flight that I think best suits your abilities. And then you can sign up with a buddy or you can not, and I'll just pair you up. We do have some rules where, let's say a guy never breaks 90, and he's like, I'm not any good. Well, that guy might actually be pretty good on 5 or 6 holes out of 9.
Sure. That's me.
Yeah,
That's me. Like,
but then you're going to make some 12s because you're going to put it in the water 3 times and hit out of bounds.
Yeah.
Well, for pace of play reasons on the tour, we play triple bogey max.
Oh, okay.
So now instead of you making like a 12 on a hole, you might make a 6 on a par 3.
Sure.
Well, now your score is going to be a lot different than what you normally would shoot.
Yeah.
And so you might have a little bit more success and have some fun.
Okay. So Is this a one-man? Do you do this all by yourself? Or do you have a little bit of a team?
All the back end stuff is done by my own. I do have my old golf coach at Appleton West, Bill Hanstead, who's no longer teaching or coaching. He will come and he'll help me at some of the events with kind of doing like the scoreboards and maybe a little bit of a tee starter.
Okay.
And then I got another buddy of mine, Nick Schreider, who will come up from Milwaukee from time to time, and he'll do the same thing. But on the back end, all of the website, all of the stats, all of the scoreboard, like all that scorecards, all that stuff, that's all done by me.
Wow, that's incredible. Seems
Thank
like
you.
it does seem like a lot of work.
I have an amazing wife. I have an amazing life.
So I'm looking at this. So I'm looking at the schedule here. It starts on May 17th. Now that seems maybe more of a fun event. It's the 2-man Glow Scramble in Chaska. Just by looking at the title, it seems like more of a fun event, or is that the real deal?
It's real. Well, it's a 2-man scramble. So we tried to do this in the past and put it out to everybody, and that's the one thing that I really enjoy about the guys that come play on the tour. They are guys that legitimately want to compete, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of guys that talk big, or
Sure.
they talk, they put their chest out, but they don't show up and they don't put a number behind their name.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
So I haven't had great success with just leaving it open to just anybody and everybody playing in it. What I have had good success with are legit gamers that want to play. So the 2-man this year is something unique. You're going to sign up as part like a normal tour golf event, as if you're playing by yourself, in air quotes. Then once I get the field set, we're then going to blind draw for your partner. So you may or may not play with a guy that you want to play with.
Okay.
Chances are you're going to play with a guy that you know.
Okay.
Because the vast majority of these guys have all played on tour now for multiple years.
They all got to know each other.
Yeah. So it's going to be unique to see who can find that spark and who can find that camaraderie rather quickly to try to win a tournament.
I guess when I saght the word glow, I thought it was like a in the evening or something.
It's not.
Playing with, like,
It's actually a
light up
typo.
balls. Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is it supposed to be?
Go low.
2-man Golo?
Yeah, like see how low you can go.
Okay. You might want to
Yeah.
put something out there.
That's embarrassing.
I thought it would be like a fun
Yeah.
twilight
No,
golf
no,
or whatever. So then May 31st you're in Lawsonia. Now that is down by Green
Lake, yep.
area.
It's one of the top 10 courses in the state.
So when you and then June 1st is Muskegon. Is that how you say that?
Muskegon. That's in
Muskegon?
Berlin.
Okay.
That's a just historical course here in the area with just old school trees, old school layout, great greens.
Cool.
They host a lot of state qualifying events. It's just a great classic course.
Then you have a little bit of a break. June 28th, Autumn Ridge. That's my old stomping grounds. And then the next day, back to back.
So actually, this year we're doing this 5 times. We're Lawsonia, Muskegon are back to back.
Oh yeah, I see that. Okay, yeah, no. I
So
noticed that.
what this is going to do is it's going to allow for there to be multiple winners at each event, because we're gonna have a Lawsonia payout, and then we're gonna have a Muskegon payout, and we're gonna have a 36-hole combined payout.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's gonna be fun. So then the same thing with Autumn Ridge and Wander Springs.
Yeah, Wander Springs. That's one of my favorite courses.
Yeah, love it.
I always like
a lot of
Autumn
people don't
Ridge.
know about it,
Or,
and
Wander
it's a
Springs.
hidden gem.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful. 27 holes. I don't know what hole it is, but it's, I sound like a girl saying this, but it's all surrounded by flowers and everything. It's really nice.
Yeah, that would be the second hole on Garden.
Yeah, that sounds
After
right.
the par 5, that's a par 4. Yeah, you drive through this garden of flowers.
Yeah, so that's Wander Springs out in Wayside area, and I will send them a bill for talking so nice about them. So then we have a little break, and then we have July 19th, July 20th. This must be down in the Sheboygan area. Northbrook, I'm assuming that's Sheboygan area.
No, Northbrook is in Luxembourg.
Okay, because the Bull
Is in Sheboygan.
Now, is that a 2-day deal like you said before? Or?
Yep, day 1 is at Northbrook, day 2 is at the Bull.
Okay. So then you got, now the 15th through the 17th is the Fox Cities Championship. Now, you were talking about that yesterday. And this is something that has some history behind it, but now you're kind of
60, 70 years. So it used to be the Fox Cities Amateur, which for a long chunk of time was sponsored by the Post Crescent.
Yep.
So when I was a kid growing up, it was just widely known as the Post. There was 2 big tournaments in Appleton. It was the City and the Post. Both of them were held at Reed Golf Course. The City was run by Reed Golf Course, and the Post was run by Reed Golf Course.
Was the City ran by Reed Golf Course, or was that the other way around?
The City tournament was run by Reed Golf Course.
But, okay, all right.
Yes.
I'm sorry for correcting you. You were correct in your verbiage. But for our listeners, the City did also run Reed Golf Course.
The City does run Reed Golf Course.
Oh, they do?
Yes. It is a municipal course.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And so there were some changes that happened between Reed Golf Course and the City, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe longer years ago now, maybe not that long. And it ended up being with me running the tour and having a good little following. I kind of just took over running what used to be known as the Fox Cities Amateur as part of the golf tour. So now Reed Golf Course does a really good job. Father's Day weekend, they host the Appleton City Tournament. That's why we have that gap in there.
Okay.
In June. So Reed with Jeff and Brian over there do a great job. They run the City, and then I end up running the Fox Cities Amateur. It used to be a July event, but based on player feedback, we wanted to make it separate from the City.
Okay.
So it used to be like 3-4 weeks apart, and it was like you're playing the same course 3-4 weeks apart. So now we stretched it out. Now we get it into mid-August. Maybe conceivably it's a little bit different conditions.
And then September 6th through the 7th, or 6th and 7th, you have the Tour Championship at Chaska.
Yeah.
Bring your beach towel.
Why?
A lot of sand on that course.
There is. Well, back in the day there were 72 bunkers because I worked on the grounds crew. But now they've taken some of them out.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
I remember when I played golf, and I was on the team in high school, and I remember we had a meet at Chaska, and I just remember that's all everyone was talking about was all the bunkers. That would have been in like 04. So they probably still had the 7. I remember 72 rings a bell. But that's the Tour Championship then. So how does that work then? So if I come and play, let's say in a couple of these events, right? And now, is there different divisions then? Like the really good golfers?
Well, it's the flights.
The flights then? And then you can win. Then you have a winner for each flight? Or do you take handicap into consideration? You just have one champion?
No, there's not that would be net, and we do not do net.
Okay.
So you get put into your flight, and then there's a flight winner for each tournament.
Gotcha.
And so the Tour Championship, all I do is when we get to that one, I go through and it's basically like an invite. I start with the people that have played the most, and I just work my way down until the tournament fills up.
You should call it the Tour Invitational.
It's it is not necessarily an invite. That's kind of how I'm explaining it, as in like that's how I kind of go down the pecking order of like, hey, just basically if you play once, you get to play.
Okay. I can't just show up on that last day. You just can't show up
on the last one because I don't know your ability.
You should get sport coats made up. Like the Masters.
Gold jacket, green jacket.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, pretty much.
So now I'm looking at this here. So at the end of the day, it's with the 3 bogey rule and with the flights, you don't have to be this phenomenal golfer. No. If you like to play golf and you are free one of these weekends, you can and then you can sign up day of, or do you have to sign up beforehand?
Typically, we're about 7 days out.
7 days.
Because I got to give the course a head count.
So how do you sign up on your
website? On the website? Yep, thenewgolftour.com.
thenewgolftour.com, ladies and gentlemen. I have people that listen to this that are golfers, and they might very well be interested in doing this. I'm not that good. I mean, I know you just said you don't have to be, but it's like I really don't want to go out and golf, and I don't want to be at the bottom of the list. There's got to be someone at the bottom.
There is, and
I don't have to be me.
Well, yes, and it is an element of it is competition too.
Yeah.
So it's not just it's not. it's not guys just out there goofing around,
right?
Which is, I mean, there are guys that are friendly. Don't get me wrong, but they want to matter, and it's always interesting for guys that have that competitive juices to say, hey, come out here and hit a drive where there's water on the left side or water on the right side, and it matters.
Yeah. And
come out here and make an 8-foot putt, and like it does make you into a different sort of player. It makes you a better player.
Did you know? I'm looking at the golf trivia over here. This is pretty interesting. It is pretty widely accepted that modern day golf was invented during the year 1457. I didn't know it was that early. The Chinese, however, claim to have invented a similar game during the Song Dynasty, 943 AD. That's pretty crazy. Tiger Woods made his first hole-in-one at age 8. You have a couple hole-in-ones, right?
One.
Just one?
Just one.
The first round of women's golf was played in the year 1811. Look at that. We had to go 400 years before we let women play golf.
I didn't know that's how it was made. I've always listened to Robin Williams and how they.
Oh yeah. Yes. Anyone listening, I definitely advise you to look that up. Make sure little kids aren't around. But
yes.
The first golf balls were made out of chicken or goose feathers.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Golf tees were popularized in the 1920s. Before golf tees, golfers would shape mounds of sand to place on golf balls. The term birdie was coined accidentally. Who hit a bird of a shot in 1889? What would that even mean? Bird of a shot. Some stupid English.
Yeah, some English slang of like that was a good shot or something.
Oh, that was quite a bird of a shot there.
Yes, there you go.
Stupid English people. Score.
Ooh, not the next one, but the one in the top right there. Only 20% of golfers have a handicap below 18.
See, that makes me feel better.
Yes. So that's the thing is, I would say the vast majority of guys that play on my tour would be in that 20%. And I think a lot of them would be like, I'm no better than anybody else. It's like, well, no, you are.
Yeah.
Like, if you can break 100, you're not bad. Like, if you can legitimately play your ball, count penalties, no mulligans, none of that stuff, and you can break 100, you're not bad. If you can break 90, it's like you're good.
That's good to know. Like I said, I if I have a really good round, it's probably like mid. And I only go by 9 holes at a time, because usually after hole 9, I'm kind of like, all right, let's go back to the clubhouse, and they can't see straight. But like. So 90, I guess, would be like really, like I'd be tickled pink if I got like 45 and 45. Yeah. My goal is always to play bogey golf.
Which would be like 45.
Yeah, that's my goal. But
not bad.
Some days are better than others, but I don't.
You know what my goal is?
What?
My golf coach taught me this when I was in high school. And if I can do this, it's a good round. No doubles, no sixes, and no 3 putts.
No doubles, no sixes, no 3 putts.
Yep.
Yeah, you probably would automatically have a decent round.
Heck yeah. You're going to break 80 a lot.
Well, the putting is what hurts me. I mean,
yeah.
It's sad when you have a nice drive. It's like, wow, I hit the ball straight. You have and then you get on there, you 3-putt. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
That's my saving grace is putting.
Oh, yeah, is it really?
Yeah.
You are a putting champion, aren't you?
2-time. Yeah, so the WSGA, so the
Women's State Golf Association.
State Golf Association has now run 3 state putting competitions, and all 3 winners are from Appleton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my buddy George Lale came down last year and dethroned me. I was on a 2-year run, and he beat me by 1. So,
and this is statewide. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna go down again this year, and
where's it at?
It's at the Lake Geneva.
Oh, okay.
Geneva National.
Cool.
They have a gigantic putting green.
Oh, nice.
That's what you putt on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I should bring up that last week when I did the episode, I did mention you a little bit because we were talking about you being on the show, and you came down with your strep throat or something, right?
Yeah. So I've had this odd histamine issue.
Histamine.
Histamine.
Oh, I thought it was hysterectomy.
No. And nobody, I'm taking some steps to figure it out, but nobody really knows what it is other than I'm not allergic to anything, but if certain things are put into my body, I can have an influx of histamine production.
So what is
body.
histamine? That's what fights off like pollen and stuff?
It's essentially inflammation.
Oh.
But yes, it does. It fights off.
Okay.
You have like, you have good and bad cells inside of you, and they're just fighting each other off and trying to keep them at bay so not one takes over, or the bad one doesn't take over.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just get these odd allergic reactions, and they annoy your feet and your hands and
in your face
and my face. My eye got all swollen up.
Yeah,
Looked like I was in a boxing match.
You look like Rocky Balboa.
Yeah.
Thanks to your histamine, I had a good 20 minutes worth of material last week. I talked about Rocky.
A really good friend of mine said that's probably what's up with your this overall size. You're probably like $180, and you're just always in a state of allergic reaction.
Well, I hope you don't find a magic cure before April 16th.
Oh, it's getting close, isn't it? You're doing good.
Well,
I did some math in the car. I got to step it up.
Yeah. Do you have to step it up, or are you just saying that?
No, I got to step it up.
Do you think you got enough time?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
What about the other guy?
He has to double step it up.
We should talk about that.
I know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. Yeah, we're talking about the weigh-in competition for those of you listening, the 10s and 10s. The franchise here is one of the 3 in that competition, and we were both saying, I lost a few pounds, but I was just pissed off because I didn't take it seriously the first 7 months or whatever. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, God damn it! But I had my physical today. I went to the doctor, and my cholesterol was still high. And he's giving me a hard time about it. It's like, dude, I've been eating so good like this whole year. I don't know why. I mean, he's like, well, it could be genetic, I guess. Well, yeah, it probably is then, because like I'm not eating junk food. I mean, sometimes, but not like I used to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, like that cholesterol, I don't get it. Like if it's genetic or what. Like my mom and dad, I think both are on cholesterol pills, but they're not health freaks by any means either, so I don't know if it's genetic or not. But do you have cholesterol problems?
No.
Do you have any issues like that?
Just this histamine thing.
Just the histamine?
Yeah. I've been very blessed.
Yeah.
No contacts, no braces, no.
You never had braces
bones.
either, dude?
I still have my wisdom teeth.
I'm going to tell you right now, I will argue any woman who has given birth that dry sockets, you know what dry sockets are?
Yes.
That's the most excruciating pain on this earth.
I don't know, man, dude. Last week when I went in to see the doctor, I went in because my tonsils were touching each other. So every swallow, you don't realize how much you swallow until every swallow you want to like punch a wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude.
So did you have strep throat?
I tested negative.
Yes, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
So you didn't really...
But the lady was like, I don't know how you can't have it. Because literally, she's like, I can imagine how painful it is to swallow. Yeah. That's hard. Or just a common cold is probably related to pregnancy. I'm giving birth, I would say. So maybe...
I was like...
Maybe...
At first, I was like, what are you talking about? And then I realized it was a gag. I was like, what? It's like, did you mix up your words? The thing about that whole pregnancy thing is women could have just gotten together and said, hey, we're just going to tell the guys that this is like incredibly difficult because we don't know. Mm-hmm. So they don't have proof that it's actually painful if you really think about it. You know what I mean?
No proof.
But I will go on record and say the dry. I remember when I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and I remember what pisses me off is that I got a buddy. You know him. He works with us. Josh. Remember that?
Yeah.
Back in the day, he used to smoke cigarettes, right? So he had his wisdom teeth taken out, and he was smoking cigs. He was drinking out of a straw. He was doing all the stuff that you shouldn't do, and he was fine. Me, when I got my wisdom teeth taken out, I was by the book. Anything that you weren't supposed to, I didn't do. And that night, I had dry sockets, and I just remember, just thinking about it, it was like someone was like just like taking a grinder to the back of my mouth is how I can explain it. But I would say if you never had your wisdom teeth taken out, you're probably safe now since you're. But you never had braces. See, dude, you want to know my luck? You know how blessed you are, quote unquote? Yeah. I literally got my braces on like a couple weeks before high school. And then I got them like taken off a couple weeks after high school. So I went through.
That's rough.
Yeah. And then I had terrible acne. Did you ever have acne?
I did.
Okay.
But acne is linked to sugar. Had I known that back then, I would have probably not cut down on the sugar intake.
Right. I had terrible acne, and then I went on this medication or whatever, and it made my pin scale, made me really dry, and this fucking loser in school called me reptile. He's like, "Hey, reptile." And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You know, I should take that back. Maybe I did get my braces off before the end of high school, but I had to wear a retainer.
Oh.
Right? And I had a tooth missing right here. Like I didn't have a tooth. My teeth are jacked up, right? They're nice now, but after thousands of dollars. But when I took my retainer out to eat, like the tooth was stuck in the retainer. So I didn't have a tooth here. I got made fun of for that. It was torture.
I'm sorry.
Guess how many girlfriends I had in high school?
You want to lay down and let's talk about this?
High school sucked. This got depressing. I never had a broken bone, but I have had stitches.
Ooh, I had a stitch.
Stitch?
Well, it was like 6.
Okay.
And that was after, it was post. I was like 21, 22.
What'd you do?
I was not looking, backing up. I was running a forklift, backing out of a trailer. I was in a hurry.
Yeah.
Went flying in with a pallet full of stuff. And as I went in, at the speed I went in, it kind of jarred the door, and it started to come down behind me. The roll door.
Yeah.
And I put the pallet in, threw the tow motor in reverse, and just stomped on it and started going backwards. Didn't look like you're supposed to.
Right.
And the next thing I know, it felt like a baseball bat hit me in the side of the face.
Well, didn't you have rollover protection or whatever? Wouldn't have blocked anything?
So what ended up happening was when I smashed into the door, those like wheels that go up and down, one of them came off. And just smashed.
Man,
me.
you hit that thing hard,
dude. It was like an inch away from taking my eye out. So I get off the tow motor and I go under the door that's halfway damaged and halfway open, halfway shut, and I start walking towards the foreman's desk, and I have no idea how much I'm bleeding. I didn't know that I was bleeding.
Yeah.
He starts running at me on a dead sprint because I'm just like gushing blood.
Yeah.
And he had to. They spent 10-15 minutes, putting gauze and all this stuff. So then the best part was, they then said, okay, well, you're going to have to go get this stitched up. So this was in Neenah. I then drove to St. E's in Appleton.
You drove yourself?
Drove myself with that much blood. I probably should not have been driving.
Right.
Drove myself, and this was third shift, so this was like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
At 4 a.m, I'm driving myself to St. E's, and then I sat in the ER for probably an hour before they stitched me up.
I got stitches once on my finger. You ever hear of a Goldberg device? You ever hear of that?
No. Like Bill Goldberg?
No, I was waiting for you to say something, but no, not like him. So I think it's called the Goldberg device. So you ever see those old cartoons where like they would, the guy would like, you got to get going?
No, I'm checking to see what a Goldberg device is.
Oh, okay. Where you got to like cut, like where someone cuts a string, right? And then the string lets like an axe swing. And that hits something. Then a bowling ball rolls down the slide, and then that hits something. It hits a mouse trap.
Oh,
yeah.
That's what it's called.
So we had to make one of those in shop class when I was in high school, and we had this idea. We had to cut a string So I had this idea of welding an X-Acto knife to a mousetrap. You know,
I was just about to say this is like Mousetrap.
yeah. So the game Mousetrap. So anyway, I was putting the mousetrap on this thing, and it went off, and the X-Acto knife welded to a mousetrap caught my finger, and I was bleeding pretty good. So I had to get stitches in my finger.
It's a chain reaction type of machine. It's called the Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah, Rube. Oh, machine. Okay, I thought it was device.
Yeah.
So it's Rube Goldberg machine. So we had to make one of those in.
When do you think he?
1886.
1928.
Oh shit. I wonder why he even made it.
He was a cartoonist. He just made it up.
Oh, so he never actually made. It was just something that he did on a cartoon.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, and then people have made it since then,
including yours truly.
Wonderful.
Including yours truly. We covered a lot of ground. So we talked about the new golf tour. We talked about your histamine deal. Weight loss competition's coming up here in a month and a half. It's gonna be here before you know it.
I want you to have a really good vacation.
Yeah. I'm going to Florida here in a couple weeks.
As am I.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Golfing, right?
Yeah.
How many golf trips do you go on in a year?
This year, I think I only have. Well, I guess what do you consider a golf trip?
Well, okay. I know what you're going with this. Where you have to take an airplane.
One. This year will be one. Last year was a lot.
Yeah, last year was like three.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say 4.
I got very lucky last year to go to Vegas at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, we should do an episode about that trip.
Should. 25.
Yeah, 25. Yeah, you had some big milestone episodes here.
Bingo.
I think we're at about 1,800 downloads. Last time you were here was 1,000.
Almost a ton.
Yeah. Yep.
Then you can say you have a ton of downloads.
Yeah, I could. Can't wait. I'm gonna do that when I get there. But yeah, I don't know. We're recording this on the 28th of February, so Friday. We won't be dropping this till Tuesday. So I don't.
The Fox Cities magazine comes out on Monday.
Okay, so if
it'll be out. It'll be out.
If you're this will be out.
Yep.
Oh, so you got a pre one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So on Tuesday, when you're listening to this, stop at a quick trip or a gas station or probably a grocery store or something.
Yep.
And then pick up your Fox Cities Sports magazine. Page 25 is the page where we talk about the new golf tour. Yeah, I mean, this is a really nice magazine for something that you can just get for free.
I agree. He's doing a good job.
The area golf courses, he doesn't have Wander Springs on here, I noticed, though.
You're right. He's got Autumn Ridge.
He got Autumn Ridge. He is...
Interesting.
He goes all the way out. Number 9. What's number 9? Fox Fire Golf Course.
Fire in Wapaka.
Have you played at all these courses, you think?
Autumn, yeah. I haven't played Cedar Springs in Manawa. I haven't played Deer Run in Brilliant.
That's just down the road.
I haven't played Farview in Osh. Well, I have played Farview on a simulator.
Oh, really?
If that helps. Hickory Hills. Love Hickory Hills.
I do too.
Fun little track.
I really love Hickory Hills. I love it how you call it a track.
Yeah.
Is that golf lingo?
I think it is. Instead of a course, call it a track.
Yeah.
I also look at golf a little bit differently. Like, to me, let's say I shoot 76
on
18 holes. To me, I played 76 different games. Like, I look at every shot's
a game. Interesting.
And I love games. So whether it's dice to cards to basketball, and like, I look at every single shot as this is a new game.
That's interesting. Do you think that helps you?
Absolutely. Because I don't look back. And when I'm on hole 4, I'm not looking back at hole 1.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, I have to make a 30-yard chip shot.
Have you ever done any, you ever look into mindfulness?
No.
No? It's like, you ever meditate?
No.
You know, mindfulness is like that, where you're focused on the now. You don't think about.
I'm a very
You're
in
very
the moment,
mindful,
content,
yeah,
focused guy.
yeah, mindfulness. So
And I think a lot. So
that.
I am not what you would call a ball striker. So I'm not a guy that you're gonna see on the range and be like, wow, that guy's good, right?
Okay, but you can hit the ball a mile.
I can play golf, but I'm not a ball striker. I am a golfer.
What's the difference?
I never had lessons. I go out and to me, it's a game. It's a competition. It's something that you play. It's something that it's not every single shot's the same. I think ball strikers are very technically sound. They're looking to get their shot, their swing in the same spot. They're looking to hit a certain shot. I'm just trying to make contact, and then I go find it and I hit it again. And
Really?
I go find it and I hit it again. And I think that mindset has helped me a lot in my playing career to win and beat people that I probably have no business beating.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, the fact that at age 39, with a BMI over my age,
yeah,
I made the cut at the state am. I had no business making the cut at the state amateur playing against these college kids and these high school kids.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You made the cut. Of course you made it.
I'm just this out of shape old guy that I can't.
John Daly.
And I hit it 270 off the tee. These kids are bombing at 320, 330. Like, it's just.
Yeah, but do you think, an unordinary opinion here, do you think the drive might be a little maybe overrated?
On good courses that have really good manicured like roughs that are penal, yes. Because if you can't hit it in the fairway is so much important. You go play at like a local course around here where if you hit it in the rough, big deal.
Yeah.
No, dude, just hit it as far as you can and go find it.
Okay.
And as long as you're not out of play.
Yeah.
If you can keep it on the course, yeah, dude, swing your little heart out.
But if you're at a good course, the
really
rough
good
is like,
yes.
It's rough.
It's like the stuff that if you ever watch like the U.S. Open, and they talk about how thick that stuff is. If it's thick and you're playing the ball down, meaning you can't move it, you can't touch it, it's hard to get out of there. If you got a 190-yard shot out buried in the rough, chances of you knocking it on the green, not very high. But if you got 100, well, let's say you've got a 210-yard shot now, but you're in the fairway, you can get that on the green. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I was going to say what I was getting at before is I don't have any emails or messages because we're recording this one maybe a little earlier, but I do want to talk about our sponsor. I'm not doing anything silly here. Our sponsor is the Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. It's myself.
Did you not just say you're not doing something silly?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't mean this to be silly. I'm saying,
okay.
I mean, like, the sponsor is the Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show. If you're listening to the show, please like, share, subscribe, review it. We would appreciate it. It's basically just a little spot here where I can plug the show.
It's like redundant.
Yeah, I guess why would I plug the show on my own show? Doesn't make any, I guess I didn't really think about that until right now. If you're listening to this, I already got you. I guess what's the point?
It's like like the Los Angeles Angels. If in Spanish, it's
I saw you. I think you
the
did
Angels,
Facebook
the Angels or something. Yeah.
Kind
of fun.
So anyway, but if you could like, share, review, I don't know, it would be cool if you want to. Also, send emails at jkenoag@outlook.com and send messages to the Ordinary Average Guy Podcast Show on the Facebook. And follow the page if you're so inclined. Again, we don't have any emails, messages, so we are going to get to the unordinary opinion. So I'm going to leave it in your court here, franchise.
Oh boy.
Do you have an unordinary opinion that you would
I might
like
have
to
an
share?
Unpopular opinion.
Probably the same. Yeah,
All
same
right.
thing.
So, as somebody who went to school originally for K6 teaching.
Oh, you're going to be a teacher?
I was.
Okay.
I really don't think that you need a 4-year degree to do that. I think you could go to a N.W.TC, go to an FETC, spend 2 years, take whatever, requisite courses they want you to take about classroom management and about, dealing with whatever, right?
Yep.
You don't need these gen eds that they forced you on.
College is a joke.
It's a scam.
It's a scam to begin with.
Yes, in some professions it matters.
If you're going to be a doctor, you should probably go to a school.
But if your desire is like, hey, I want to be a second grade teacher, why are you going into why are they forcing you to go into debt?
Yeah.
And then you're going to go take a job that's paying you $35-40K a year.
Well, here's a couple things, actually. It's just college in general, and I'm going to come back to your opinion here. But, when I went and got my degree in business management, why did I have to take a couple years of, history class to learn about I learned about China, the Song Dynasty.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew anything. They didn't tell me the good stuff, like golf, that they invented it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I learned about their, but why, what does that have to do with the business? Gen eds in general, the first 2 years of college are a joke to begin with.
Yeah. I mean, I get the argument that people make that, well, it makes you well-rounded educationally. Right?
Well, you and I are both well-rounded.
We are. My counter to that would be we should be holding our high school education
there you go.
At a higher standard. That way we don't have to go to college for gen eds. That, to me, that's always seemed silly, is why are we taking gen eds in college when you should be doing that in high school?
Yeah.
That's what our high school curriculum should be.
You know what, though? I don't even know if it should be in high... I just read a thing the other day about somebody said something like, if you want people to be smarter, bring back shop classes and stuff like that.
Yep.
And other than it being extremely dangerous with X-Acto knives welded to mousetraps, that is a good point. That's the stuff that, how many kids coming out of school learn some bullshit crap? I don't know if your kids are going to listen to this episode or not, so I should probably watch what I say. But how many kids come out of school learning about something that they're never going to use, but at the same time don't know how to, just do some simple plumbing in their house when they buy it, or
100%.
That's the stuff you should learn. I don't know, that just really drives me nuts. How people don't, how do you do your taxes? That's what they should teach us, the stuff like that, the everyday stuff. I always thought that would be a good course, a legit course about how to do everyday things. And I don't think we ever, and those are the courses that they want to, want to get rid of. It doesn't make any sense. Now, to go off of what you were saying, I agree with you 100%. If you want to be a teacher for those smaller grades, why should you have to take all... Another thing, too, did you know that, in college, for example, if you want to be a professor in college, bachelor's degree, you need a master's degree. You only need one up. So really, if you want to be a second grade teacher, you really should only need a third grade education. Really.
I see what you're saying. I might come back and say, well, maybe at least finish middle school.
Okay.
But I get what you're going there. I'm not trying to take anything away from that profession.
Yeah. No, I'm just joking too.
I truly think that it would help a lot of people with debt. I feel like it would help a lot of people, buy homes, start a family, all that stuff a lot earlier than what they could.
Yeah.
If you hypothetically, by the age of 25, had 7 years experience and no debt, and you're a second grade teacher. That's
so.
Awesome.
How could we change? How could we actually change? Do you think that's something that could be done on probably not a state level? That'd probably have to be done on a federal level.
It's not going to be
I'm ready to take this to the Supreme Court.
There are a lot of rackets out there, and one of them is the licensure racket of, you got to get this license and that license, and guess who sets all these rules and regulations? The people in Washington. That, they want to protect their own. So
it's terrible.
I don't see it happening. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but
no,
it's sad. Now let's say you want to be a history teacher in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, you should probably be taking some college level history courses,
Right.
on different topics. You know, the French Revolution or medieval times or the Chinese the dynasties.
Yeah.
You want to do that? Okay, that makes
Makes
sense to
sense.
me because that is what you're teaching.
I always liked history, actually.
I do too.
Do you? So you wanted to be a K through 6th grade
And then
teacher?
I changed after I got into it to 7-12.
Oh, then you wanted to be a 7th grade to high school?
That was the difference. So then I had to focus on a certain topic.
Well, I have a buddy that's a
chose
teacher.
history.
I have a buddy that's a teacher. He's like 4th grade teacher or something. He says it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's just. He says when you get to the 6th grade or so, that then okay, now it gets a little better. But he says those young ages are just, they're just rough. And you don't even. Your kids don't. Your kids are homeschooled, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we tried public school.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll just say we tried. It's exactly what you just mentioned, your buddy. I think 80% of people out there understand that public school is not what public school used to be. I think there's some people that think it's great, but yeah, it's missing a lot.
Yeah. Our kids go to a private school, so
must be nice.
Yeah, what can I say? So, all right. Well, I think that was a good unordinary opinion, and I think people, when you think about it, might get behind it. And who knows? Who knows? We have the Trumpster on next week, so maybe I'll bring it up to him.
That'd be huge.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump came down in the Buck City Studios down here and?
Is that a water heater, by the way?
Yeah.
So that's what that is?
Yeah. You didn't learn that in high school?
Nope.
Aren't you a homeowner?
My wife's a homeowner.
Well, you got a lot on your hands with this golf tour. You have kids, though, right?
Yeah.
Three. Do they help you out with this?
No. The one son is very intrigued about potentially continuing it on because I'm not going to do this forever. Obviously,
Right.
I'm only getting older.
Yep.
At some point in time, I'm going to be like, yeah, I mean,
the thing is if you hang it up, who's going to take it over?
Right. And so I think he's shown some interest.
That's
cool.
If
I can, let's say I can make it till I'm 55 running it. I mean, that's another 13 years.
Okay.
He'd be 24. It's not a bad time to maybe pass it on.
Pass
to him.
on the old family business.
It's
Could you turn this into a business, you think?
It has been. I think the only way you could is you'd almost have to make it statewide and potentially have different like branches. So you'd almost have to have like a tour in, Eau Claire, a tour in where we are, a tour in Milwaukee, a tour in Madison, and then you'd have to, obviously you'd have to have sponsors and.
Oh, I know what you should do. You and me should do together.
Oh boy!
And then I got a couple guys that we could help out. Let's give this whole golf thing up, all right? You had a good run. Let's give it up.
Okay.
And let's use your talents and do a wrestling promotion in Wisconsin.
It's tempting.
Yeah, there's a couple around, but I think we could, like a good old-fashioned NWA wrestling promotion.
Yeah.
Because I know there's wrestlers out there, and we could have a weekly show. We could have a traveling show. We could talk to like... we used to have wrestling at Waverly Beach. We call Waverly Beach. Get like a thing going every week. I'm throwing it out there. If you were to tell me, yes, let's do it. I want you to know that I am in.
Okay, good to know.
I would be in a heartbeat. So.
And the promoters, commentators make wrestling.
Yeah.
Like as an Attitude Era kid.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved watching Austin and Hart and Rock and Michael. I loved all that, right?
Yeah.
But Jim Ross,
JR,
and Lawler and his goofy, they helped make that.
Oh my God!
Yeah, you can remember those.
Yeah.
I can remember being even a WCW kid a little bit, and I can remember
Tony Schiavone
back in the day, and Larry Zbyszko being an idiot. I remember those guys, right? I've never been a Michael Cole guy.
You don't like Michael Cole?
He seems very corporate. He hits his marks. He says what he's supposed to say.
Yeah.
It all seems very scripted. But to his detriment, that's because he's been Vince's puppet for 20 years.
I had a dream. Crap you not. I had a dream last night that I was talking to Vince McMahon, right? And we were on like a personal level, like we knew each other. And I was literally asking him to be on my podcast. And he was thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It was the weirdest dream. And I was like, I won't bring up any of that, anything you don't want me to bring up.
This could be a bigger topic.
Okay.
Where do you stand on, did Vince create it, or did the performers make Vince into a quote-unquote genius? Because WWF was going down.
Yeah.
And it was Hart, and it was Michaels, and it was Austin, and it was Taker, and it was Mankind. Those guys...
I'll tell you, one could say if the Montreal Screwjob never happens, WWF might not be around right now.
That was massive.
Yeah. That right there created the Mr. McMahon character.
Yep.
And then because of that...
And he didn't want to be that character.
Right.
Like, it came organically.
Right. But then also, if you think about it... Okay, all right, let's go with it. Let's run with it. I don't know how many people are turning off their radios right now, but whatever. So Vince McMahon, right? He does the Montreal Screwjob. That's a real life thing that happened.
Survivor Series '97.
And that's right. Montreal.
Yep.
Then. Okay, so that's one thing. So now Mr. McMahon didn't really become a character until Stone Cold gets involved.
Yes.
So now you got to think King of the Ring.
Yep.
If Stone Cold doesn't do his promo with Doc Hendricks after the Jake the Snake match and talks about Austin 316, that's the bottom line.
Yep.
You don't have the Stone Cold character.
Which you don't have that if they don't do the curtain call. Because Triple H was supposed to win
the Ring of the... Yeah.
So it's crazy how this stuff all goes together.
So if you don't have the curtain call, which
arguably could be the biggest moment in wrestling history that people don't even know about.
Yeah, a house show.
Yeah.
Madison Square. Which is weird that they had a house show at Madison Square Garden.
Because everything that came off of that almost explains everything else.
Yeah. So you have how does that explain the Montreal Screwjob?
Well, because the curtain call leads to the N.W.O. creation.
Okay.
And then it also leads to the DX creation, which leads to the edgier attitude, which Vince wants to go back on his 10-year contract with Brett.
Yeah.
So then you get into this, like, that would have never happened.
Yeah.
If you don't have this more real, edgy NWO going on, and he's trying to match it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So then Austin, you don't know if Austin is who Austin is. I mean, he was the ringmaster.
Yeah.
I mean, what an idiot.
If Stone Cold then becomes Stone Cold, we might not even know who Steve Austin is right now.
I mean, I remember stunning Steve Austin when he was with the Fabulous Blondes. He was doing this with
Brian Pillman.
That was great.
But if Stone Cold never happened, would you have remembered stunning Steve?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hollywood Blondes, yeah.
Yeah, the Hollywood Blondes, right.
So there's a lot of things that are like Vince. I think Vince screwed up more than he did good, and he gets credit for like making this industry. And I'm like, no, he didn't.
You want to know why I agree with you? Because when the Attitude Era was done, and you had the ruthless 10, 12 years ago, right when he was trying to shove Roman Reigns down our throat, it wasn't good then.
No, it wasn't.
So when Vince McMahon didn't have all those happy accidents, and when he didn't have people like Stone Cold and The Rock, I mean, you have Stone Cold, you have The Rock at the same exact time. Those are like, how often does that happen?
It's incredible.
So yes, I agree with you. I think Vince McMahon is definitely overrated. 100%.
100%. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a really good conversation we had here. That
Bingo.
was a good dialogue. But I really truly never thought like how the Montreal Screwjob, if that doesn't happen, you don't have Mr. McMahon. If you don't have the curtain call, you don't have King of the Ring. Mm-hmm. Whatever. I was going to say something like, I was Stone Cold, I should I thought he almost didn't even make it to that match or something.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about that.
There was an injury. Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, we're coming on an hour here, so we want to wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, we'll wrap it up with the song of the week that everyone's been waiting for. Song of the week is "One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do," or I think it's something like that. 3 Dog Night. The song is "One." That came on the radio the other day, and I forgot how much I love that song. It's such a classic rock song. You know that song? Did you know it before you played it?
Yeah,
Yeah, so driving down the road this week, look up "One" by 3 Dog Night, and have yourself a good time. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Remember to have a windows down, radio up type of week, and also remember that it's 100% okay to be ordinary and average.